Alright, this video is about that death of the 17-year-old in Indonesia in the boxing ring. Click in the description section of this video, it'll bring you to the link to that video. I don't even think this video is available on YouTube. Somebody from one of the supporters of YouTube sent me a message and gave me the link to this video, requested for me to make a video response about it. I saw the video, it's from an outside web source, but this video is not going to be mass advertised for everybody to see, like on commercial television or even on YouTube. So I'm going to bring it forward myself to get you to know about what happened over there. But this is something, the reality of fighting, the reality of violence, and they kind of try to shade you away from all that, just like they do with the pornography. Like, if you just have sex with just random people, I mean, you're talking about all these diseases out there, like herpes and HIV and all this nasty stuff. But they don't show you that stuff in the porn. They show you all the glorified stuff. And that's what I see with the with the fighting. They glorify it to be like, oh, you know, this is great. But in real fighting, there's always that potential of like immediate death. Even things like with no protection, people losing their teeth and everything, just like that. I mean, it's so easy to lose your tooth, getting your nose broken. I mean, so many things happen in fighting that's very gruesome, and it's stuff that if you see it and you see the totality of it, then it should wake you up. But what they do with the boxing is they put big gloves on people and they put all these protection on people to make them have like a slow death. And then what happens is all the damage is done inside. So many people went into boxing. Maybe they're gonna try to argue, oh, there's not that many deaths in boxing or cage fighting, this is safe. I mean, it's just the death is happening inside. So you understand, like, if you get a virus, you might look okay in the outside, but inside you're dying. If you get HIV or you get AIDS, you might look okay in the outside, but inside you're dying. Eventually you end up dying. That's what happens when you do this competition sport. It destroys your inside, especially the brain cells and everything. So if you notice, like, these fighters, they're not intelligent. I mean, think about it. Say every time you go and you fight, next thing you know, you just lose your memory. Like, you forgot where you put your keys. You know, everything that you learned yesterday, you just forgot. And that's something that can't really be measured. You can't just look at somebody and be like, you know, that guy is jacked up inside. Like, you can't just look at somebody and say, oh, that person's a killer. Like, he's just mentally deranged. Like, you just look at them and be like, oh, you know, he's got a six-pack, he's in shape. But you don't see the inside, his mind, his spirit, how destroyed it is. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like having a fruit that looks like okay in the outside, the orange looks okay, but when you open it up, it's all molded, it's all nasty, and when you open it, like, ugh, you throw it away. And that's what I see with all these fighters. They might be trained physically, and they look strong, they look like, oh, you know, they're great athletes, but inside, everything's destroyed, like spiritually, mentally, intellectually, emotionally. Emotionally, because they have no compassion, no care for anybody. All they care is just killing. They just kill for money. You know, so you throw them in the ring and you have them kill for money, kill for fame. And it clearly doesn't surprise me. I know that this stuff happens. A lot of this stuff gets swept under the carpet because they don't want this to stop boxing. They don't want this stuff to be mass commercialized, because then there's going to be protests against boxing. And then boxing was shut down, cage fighting was shut down, maybe Thai boxing, all the competition sports will start shutting down, and then there's going to be a lot of people that are going to lose a lot of money, and they're going to be pissed off. So I'll tell you right now, you know, the people that are promoting against it, they're putting a lot on the line, because they could very easily take out the people that are trying to speak against it, just like they took out Martin Luther King Jr., you know what I'm saying? They'll take out the people when there's a lot of money involved. So no matter how many deaths there are, they don't want this to stop. But the only way that it can really be deterred is if you see for yourself how violent this stuff is and learn to draw yourself away from it. I mean, because if you keep watching this stuff, it's just promoting you to be violent yourself. So I know CDY brought up in this video like getting involved, but at the same time, say you got 1 million people watching this fighting and they're not getting involved. You don't want them to get involved either, because you'd rather have them not get involved, because then, hey, you know, I want to fight, let's fight, and then they start fighting themselves and everybody's not fighting. That's not good. But if you teach people like to practice martial art in a controlled and spiritual way, kind of like what kind of Bruce Lee was trying to promote, and even Jet Li, it's like you can learn this stuff but use it in a more peaceful way. Become an actor, not a fighter, but learn how to fight, and then be an actor. You know, make some choreographed fight scenes. You know, just, you know, spar in a safe way. You know, demonstrate what you could do, but don't hurt the person. You know, it's like when we get guns, the guns are for survival, because it's life or death. You don't see us like playing, you know, shooting at each other with real guns to see who's better. That's not what you're supposed to do. I mean, you use the gun when you really need to protect yourself in situations of danger. And you might go into the fighting range and shoot at paper targets to get better at your accuracy. But if you start shooting birds with it, and you start shooting deers with it, or you just start shooting random animals and dogs and cats with it, clearly there's something that you're not supposed to be doing stuff like that. If you are, then you should probably end up being in a mental institute or jail or something like that. Or if you start shooting human beings with it, just like what's going on with all these school shootings, that these are supposed to be wake-up calls. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole school shooting with all the kids and stuff. How much worse could it get? A guy waking up and then decide to just shoot off a bunch of kids for no reason whatsoever, and then offing himself. I mean, how much worse does it have to get in order for you to see that we need to like stop all this violent stuff going on? We need to stop supporting it. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop watching it and stop like talking about it. Like, hey, you know, did you see this fight? You know, just like that right there, you just promoted it. Now you want people to watch the fight. But the only reason why I'm showing this video, because I want this video to wake you up. Because it just seems that when somebody doesn't die, people just don't want to, oh, it's not a big deal because nobody died. But finally, okay, somebody's dying right there. He just died right there. Now what? You know what I'm saying? It's like people, they just don't understand. It's like saying, oh, you know, having unprotected sex with multiple people is not dangerous unless you get HIV. It's like saying something stupid like that. But then you got your balls itching for the rest of your life or something like that. Or like, everything's all jacked up down there. It's all pimply and all this. I mean, it hurts when you piss and stuff like that. But no, as long as you don't die, everything's fine, right? But then when you see what's going on down there, everything's all messed up, then yeah, clearly this is not right. Same thing, you know, women could get pregnant with, like, say a woman got pregnant like 50 times by 50 different men. And then she aborts every kid, every single kid. She got 50 abortions. Alright, as long as you didn't die, does that mean it's okay? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you just killed off 50 kids. You just had a bunch of kids. Even if you didn't kill them off. You just gave them all the foster homes. You got 50 kids from 50 different men. You telling me that that's healthy for society? So that's what I'm saying with this cage fighting stuff. Or not just cage fighting. All this competition, sports stuff. I don't support any of it. I'm going to speak against all of it until I die. And I'm just going to keep speaking against it, because it's just, it's just wrong, all of it. You know what I mean? When you're young, you don't see this stuff. You know, like, even like the only reason I knew about Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee was because my dad just turned on the television and started putting on these videos, and then I saw some video with Muhammad Ali fighting against George Foreman, and then I saw a video with Bruce Lee and his movies and stuff. That was my first exposure to combat, to boxing. But since my dad watched it and he liked Muhammad Ali, then I started liking Muhammad Ali. But as you get older, you see, like, hey, you know, look at his state now. He's like this and stuff. And people are like, oh, you know, it's not from boxing. I mean, are you kidding me? That he's like that because he was in the ring. He's getting his head smashed in. I saw the fight with him and George Foreman, and him and the other guy, like they were just tearing each other apart, and they were going like 15 rounds. And Joe Frazier, they were like tearing each other apart, and they were going like they fought like 3 times, and that's pretty much why he ended up the way that he is. And is it worth it? No matter how much money you get, even if you got $10 million, is it worth like dying like 50 years earlier than you would have died, or like losing your memory and you can't even remember anything? You don't even know who your brother, your mom is, but you got $50 million and you don't even know who you are. What the hell is the point? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just, Muhammad Ali was a great person, but it's just the whole boxing and fighting for money, fighting for glory, and all that stuff. I don't agree with none of that. And I speak against it. I don't care how talented the people are that step into that ring or cage. Fact of the matter is, they're doing something that's not positive for society, and it should not be encouraged no matter who's stepping in there. Some people say, oh, this fighter, he doesn't talk that much crap, and he just stays silent. He's a good guy. He's humble. Like, shut the hell up. All this shit is bullshit. The people in there, they're a disgrace to the martial arts, and I don't support none of them. None of them. I'm just gonna put them all in a bandwagon. Because pretty much the way it is I see it is that there may be some good people in jail, but still, why are you in jail? You know what I'm saying? And some people might be innocent and they're in jail. They need to get out. But they're not there willingly. But this cage fighting, all this combat sport, you willingly sign a contract. You willingly agreed to fight for money. That's on you, and you cross the line. Once you cross that line, there's no turning. I mean, there's not that there's no turning back, but you're no longer a martial artist. You become a fighter. Okay, so you could be a great officer, 15 years, serving the community, but then one day you just lose it and you start just killing people for no reason. Now you're no longer an officer. Okay, you turned into a violent criminal. You're gonna throw your ass in death row, and now they're gonna take your life. And this kid that killed the 17-year-old kid, he should be on death row. You know what I'm saying? He killed somebody. If it went out there in the streets and you killed somebody because you're angry, you're going to death row or you're going to jail. That's pretty much how it goes. But here, they're like allowing people to profit off of fighting, and then they are encouraging them and then rewarding them for hurting somebody. That's the most ridiculous thing imaginable. How can you reward somebody for hurting somebody else in a violent way? And this is it just has to stop. It has to stop. So I'm gonna speak against it constantly. And as I keep speaking on it, and if I keep getting more subscribers, there's gonna be more heat coming at me. But I'm just gonna let the heat come on. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that what I'm speaking against is just something that needs to stop. And this video should speak louder than anything words could say. Just watch the videos and pay attention to how you're feeling inside. If you feel like, hey, this is cool, or you start smiling, or you start feeling good inside, then hey, you need some help. But if it starts like making you feel like, man, that's jacked up, this should not be going on. Alright, so okay, it's jacked up. Okay, now what you gonna do about it? Are you gonna still watch this stuff? It's gonna be, oh, it's jacked up, and you keep watching it. You're not learning. Alright, so if it's jacked up, then do something about it. Why are you watching this stuff? Why are you promoting it? You know what I'm saying? You need to change. The people that are watching needs to change. Not the people that are going in there fighting, but the people that are watching needs to change. Alright? Rather than watch that, watch a martial arts movie. Okay? Watch WrestleMania. Okay? Read a book. Alright? Have sex. Alright? With somebody that you love. Do something else that's promoting something more positive. Come to FMK. Train with me. Exercise. Go to the gym. Stop watching this crap. Alright? Stop paying out money. Stop promoting your friends to do that crap. And better yourself. Wake up. Get in shape. Stop being lazy. Alright? That's all I gotta say.